Hi, my name is Zelda, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make strawberry shortcake sliders, which are little bite-sized strawberry shortcakes. So we're going to start with the biscuits, and using a food processor, I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients together first. So add your flour, then sugar, salt, and baking powder. And you just want to pulse this until it combines. Now you're going to add in the butter before the wet ingredients, and you just want to cut your butter up into little cubes to start rather than put a whole stick right in there, and kind of divvy it out around the food processor so it's not in one big chunk. Oops, got one more in there. All right. And the butter is pretty well combined, but I'm just going to check on it and make sure. You'll see it's in little pieces, about sort of little lumps into the flour, and that's about right. So before I mix the wet ingredients in, I'm just going to beat them into a bowl first together. So you've got an egg, some heavy whipping cream, and just a little bit of vanilla. And you just want to beat this until the egg is combined. And go ahead and mix that right in there. I'm just going to mix that together again. And start by pulsing it so that it doesn't all fly out in the mixer. And once that you see that it's starting to make a ball of dough, you want to go ahead and stop mixing it because you don't want to overmix the biscuits. So I've got my biscuit dough ready here for the shortcakes, and I have it on a lightly floured surface, and I'm going to go ahead and just mix a little more flour in, not too much, but the dough can get pretty sticky. And we're going to roll it out into about maybe 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to start with half the dough at a time just to make it a little bit more manageable. So I'll just set this aside. And go ahead and make sure you have plenty of flour on the surface and also on your rolling pin. And start by flattening it out with your hands, and then you can go ahead and get right in there with the rolling pin. And just go ahead and add more flour as you need to, and flip it over as you need to. That's probably about right. Because these are miniature strawberry shortcakes, I'm using the lid of a shot alcohol glass. You could use a juice glass or a cookie cutter. And the best way to do it is to actually dip the tip of the glass right into a bowl of flour, since this is such a sticky dough, in between each cut. So I'm going to just go ahead and get a couple of them lined up like this. And just dip it in between each biscuit. And you can get pretty close together and use, a lot of the dough here. If you don't have a cookie cutter and you don't want to roll out the dough, you could go ahead and just do this dough in teaspoon sizes onto a cookie sheet rather than rolling and cutting it. You'll just get a little bit more of a rustic biscuit. These are going to chill in the fridge for just about 5-10 minutes before going into the oven. My oven is preheated at 425, and they'll bake for about 12 minutes or until golden brown on top. So our biscuits are out of the oven and are cooling now, and we're going to go ahead and start preparing the strawberries and the whipped cream, which we're doing a peppermint whipped cream for the strawberry shortcake sliders. So I've already started a couple strawberries here. The important thing to do is make sure that you don't have any rounded edges on your strawberries, because those will slip right out of the slider when you go to take a bite. So you start by cutting off the end, the green stem, and then cut each side, and you can just get rid of this little side. And then each strawberry can probably make about three cuts for a slider. And you just go ahead and get those ready. We're going to cover them in sugar. I'll do one more. So cut the stem off, then cut each side. Save these for later. Well, not for the recipe, but if you want to have a snack or something. And then, about 3 to a strawberry. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cover those with some granulated sugar, and it'll get the juices out and sweeten the strawberries, so they'll be a lot tastier. So just mix the sugar right in, and then just set it aside. It only takes a few minutes for the sugar to dissolve and the strawberries to get juicy. So I usually just do those and set them aside while I work on the whipped cream. So the whipped cream is peppermint whipped cream, which means we're using both vanilla extract and a little bit of peppermint extract. If you wanted to, you could actually mix some fresh chopped mint leaves into it, but I'm not doing that today. So in the mixer, I'm just going to start with my heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to start that on low before I mix in any of my other ingredients. So just bring it down and just do it low. Once your whipping cream starts to thicken, you can go ahead and add the other ingredients. So we have granulated sugar, vanilla extract, peppermint extract, and I use a little bit of sour cream to mix in. That you won't get the flavor at all, but it'll just help the whipped cream kind of take form and stay stiff and hold its form. So add that, and then you're just going to beat this in the mixture until the cream starts to form stiff peaks. So this is just about there. I'm just going to tip it back and check. And when the whipped cream stands up on its own, then you know that it's ready to go. So our biscuits have cooled, our peppermint whipped cream is done, and our strawberries are nice and juicy from the sugar. So I'm just going to go ahead, I started a couple here, and slice our biscuits in half using a sharp knife, and just slide the tops right off and get ready to assemble them. So just slide right off. Do this one more. Okay. So you want to start, you actually want to put whipped cream on both sides of the biscuit. You can put it a little bit heavier on one side so that there's more of a bite of whipped cream, but you want it on both sides so that the lid of the biscuit really stays on in these little sandwiches. So I'm just going to go through and just put a dollop using the back of a spoon on each side. And then you'll just take one slice of strawberry for each biscuit and just go ahead and place it on. And then put the tops on. So that you have, oh, it's already sliding, so that you have just little bite-sized sandwiches. So I'll just get a few ready for this plate. We don't need to do all of them. So I like to garnish with a little bit of fresh mint, and then take a little bit of powdered sugar in a spoon and just lightly sprinkle it over the top. And there you have it, strawberry shortcake sliders.